Welcome back, everybody, to Gringos Liberados. This is episode 15 of 2026. My name is Trajan, joined by 4x4 and Super Bren on this episode, and this is our Split 1 pre-playoffs episode. Now, we didn't really do a special pre-playoffs episode for the CBLOL Cup. It was fairly short. There weren't that many games, but we've built up now half a year of games of CBLOL almost in the books. And we will talk about the last week of the regular season. There's plenty to dig into there. And then we are going to do a little bit of a tier list. We're going to break out the tier list and the awards as usual, because we just love it, man. We can't get enough. Just please inject it into my veins. So, okay. Right, but we got to wrap off the first split first. And as I said, we had a lot of big games. This was an incredibly hype way to end the regular season. Basically, every series had the juice. It all meant something to somebody. And we started with Leviathan and Pain. Now, unfortunately, this kind of took the wind out of the sails at the start.
So quickly.
Yeah. Pain managed to heave their broken carcass off the ground just long enough to ruin Leviathan's fun. And got their first series win. They 2-0'd them, and Bren, it was pretty cut and dry, to be honest. It looked kind of like if you just took no rosters, no prior information, you put Pain versus Leviathan, you'd probably expect this to be the thing that would happen.
Yeah, it was kind of, I was there for all four games, or all four series this weekend, and they were kind of all just relatively insane. Obviously we'll get to the other ones and why they were, but this one, it was insane in the fact that it wasn't like we would expect that, like, Pain Gaming is just gonna have some bottom table shenanigans going on. And then they beat a bottom table team the way Pain Gaming should beat a bottom table team. It was like, oh, okay, this is it was like good. It was
yeah,
consistent.
I mean, it's too late, but like, cool, I guess you can do that. Like, that they have been just completely unable to put a late game together for so long. Like, they've been able to get like small advantages, and like players like Carioca and Kaney sometimes like are able to kind of develop small reasonable leads, but ultimately they would always fall apart. They would always lose out. Like, they couldn't trust Trigger to carry. They couldn't trust Trigger and Curry to lane together. But for some reason, Trigger has just been biding his time, waiting to pounce on this moment to ruin everyone's fun.
He looked like the bottom laner that was promised.
He looked like the Korean import AD carry. That's
he looked really sharp. I can't really complain. Like, it was kind of crazy. Like, these were pretty cut and dry games by Pain. Like, it was really disheartening to see Leviathan just wither away and die like this. And I think maybe I just had false hope that they were going to give us something, right? They beat Loud, but it's like, how impressive was that really? And I think the game score probably told us more than we were ready to admit, that like there is a chasm between Leviathan and the rest of the teams. Because I mean, look, best of ones don't mean anything, individual games, whatever, right? But like, they had an awful game score for a reason. They were 2-11 for a reason. But it was just disheartening to see none of the even like occasionally bright spots show up. Enga was just completely taken to the cleaners by Kaine. He was just invisible. He was just invisible, and that's like, you could count on Enga for a good team fight here and there, and we just didn't get any of that. Leviathan went out with quite the whimper, and it's a shame, because I mean, we think back to 2025 Split 1 when they joined the league, right? They were this fun surprise story. Since then, what have they given us?
They knocked out VKS that one time. That was funny.
Oh, they did do that.
But like, that's all we were even hoping for them here, right? Is they could do the funniest thing and somehow eliminate Loud, right? By beating them last time, like a couple weeks ago, then beat Pain. And that was like the most we could hope for them again, was ruining someone else's playoff dreams. Like, there was never a sense of like, oh, Leviathan can make a run. Leviathan can achieve something in playoffs. Like, there was this split especially, there was just no hope of that, I think. They were only able to put together fits and starts, pieces of games at a time, and Loud let them 2-1 them just for the culture, I suppose, and then went back to just then decided to start winning against everybody again, as we'll get onto. So Loud's data is just completely false, I think, for everybody. It's completely useless. But yeah, Leviathan, sadly, the only win they got was against the current CBLOL champs, CBLOL Cup champions, I guess we can say. And nothing else was done. Nothing else was heard from them. It was always hard to see where this roster was going. I think it's pretty fair to say I don't think it's currently going anywhere. But Bren, is this just a case of we need to fix the bot lane again because it was better with Sayo, or do we need to start thinking about the rest of the roster as well?
It's really tough to call there, because there's been lots of times where we look at any of these given rosters and we say, if this one piece was slightly better, then that's what would fix it. And there are times you look at Red Canids, they change out a piece or two, right? They changed out Rebello, and we were going, there's no way that that's the answer, is we're just dropping Rebello, who looked so good and just had a pretty bad CBLOL Cup, but then it worked, and now they're top of the table pretty definitively, right? But then you have situations like VKS where they've been slowly changing out piece over piece, trying new things. They dropped Morteus, but now Morteus looks really good on Red Canids, right? So what is the correct answer is kind of hard, I think, especially when you're at this level of dysfunction. You've only picked up the 2 game wins in the whole split. It's kind of hard to find what the right path forward is.
Yeah, I think if I could save any of them, I would still probably save Devist. I don't know if anyone really needs Enga. The mid lane pool has gotten, well, the people who are struggling in mid have underperforming talents as opposed to low bars, if you know what I mean. Miryu is still lost in the woods somewhere. Feisty is I think is up and down, but he's very serviceable, but I think he's maybe not being used quite correctly by Los, is my diagnosis anyway. I don't really think Kaney's not, I don't think, supposed to be a permanent solution for Pain. It's a floating player. They needed someone to play in mid while they were sorting out what their plan even is. So I don't expect that to be locked in for a super long amount of time. But yeah, I don't know if Enga's the answer there. I don't know. It's it does. I say I don't know where this is going. I think there's room for Devist, in my opinion. I'm not sure I see a huge future for the others anymore. If it's really just an issue of the team and the coaching staff lost the plot and couldn't find a way forward here, but there is a chance for Bookie and Enga and Toplop maybe to go somewhere, then sure. But I don't know. It's gonna be a long time, I think, for them to, or a big change for them to see more. And for Leviathan's plan to put together the banger LLA team, you really could put together a banger LLA team if you stole all the best pieces from everyone else and you put Devist, Steps, Kaze, Sayo. You're cooking, bro. You're absolutely cooking with that one.
Yeah.
But they're not, and Ackerman, right? Slap Ackerman on there as well. That's love that for you. That's probably top 3 minimum, and in their first split, those pieces are so talented, and then Devist has a lovely framework to grow in. However, that's not going to happen. So, I don't know, bro. We'll see what Leviathan's got in the tank, I suppose.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's where do you go from here, right? Because it's not like there is no LLA talent. It's
I think
just they're all on Brazilian orgs.
Yeah. Wherever that is.
It sucks.
Somewhere else. And yeah, so Pain and Leviathan out of playoffs contention. I imagine there will be some sort of Pain explosion event in this offseason. Whether that looks like, who knows? Maybe they will decide to stick with some pieces because of how well the Leviathan series went. I don't know, man. But I think Leviathan, whether they have the wherewithal and the resources to try and change direction at this point, they might just stick it out for this year, given what seems to be the position for them. So we'll see if there's any major changes. I think Pain is going to do something. They're always doing something.
They're going to bring in Bull. They already talked about that.
Yes, that is true, actually. No, that's the other thing in the room for Pain is Robo has announced a career pause. He is not retiring, and he's made it very clear to say that this is a see you soon, not a farewell. But he basically, did not enjoy this year, understandably, did not agree with the direction of the team, and is stepping away and will be back somewhere at some time. And Bowl was picked up in the interim. I don't know if that's like announced, but it's definitely the leading assumption, and it seems pretty plausible to me.
I think they said something about it on Twitter, but like I could also have just been like,
I don't know if it was an idea.
Yeah, like I definitely saw it on Twitter. I just don't know from where.
I think so, because I don't have the proper rumor mills on my timeline. It's only like Sheep and Shotana and Mize and Kores and like the real. So if I see the picture, it's at least likely. Yes,
no, you got it from those then.
So that's potentially going to be it. And Bowl was kind of floating for a while. So does like Bowl, who got dropped from the previous team potentially for attitude issues, solve this Pain Gaming roster's problem? I don't think so. But is he a solid player? Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think he's solid. He's a solid player. I think Robo's a solid player.
Yeah, Robo was no more than a solid player in this year. So the impact on the Rift is probably similar.
But it is a little kind of but because like it felt like every other week there was some quote that came out from Robo and the coaching staff of like them just kind of butting heads. And and he talked about that in interviews a lot. And so maybe you've got a one split Bowl where because he's new, he's not going to be as confrontational. Maybe right?
Yeah, like maybe now he's been bumped a new job from the team for bad attitude. He's going to sort his attitude out.
maybe for one split, right? Like when when you get fired from a job and then on a new job, you're on your best behavior for a month, and then you're back on your bullshit.
Yeah, he's been sitting at home for a split. We'll see how that's tempered his.
Let's see.
Temperament, I suppose. Exactly. So we'll see. They've got a top player at least who's a real player. That's fine. We'll see if there's any other changes to be had. It certainly looks like there is a real player somewhere in Trigger, and we know what Curry can do when he meshes with the team and the bot laner he's with. Karioka is obviously perfectly good enough for this. And Kaney looks pretty meh, but like, is there a better option? I don't know, man. Howls is still in Korea, so. What are you going to do? Okay, right. Next series was Furia versus Red, which was a banger, as it should have been, as it hasn't actually been as much of a banger for a while because Red's just been winning all the time. It's been kind of boring. But not today. Not so today. Furia takes it 2-1. They overcome what must be a pretty long losing streak in series against Red by this point. And they locked themselves in second, given all of the other shenanigans that went down. No one else managed to pick up a win from the other kind of morass of teams below them, really. And Furia locks themselves 5-2, so they are the first top two teams, Red and Furia. So, Brent, Furia finally taken the win, and they didn't have the game one collapse that they have kind of started pitching every single time. They did lose game one, but it wasn't like embarrassing like it has been in the times. But they also didn't get their game three super stomp that they get sometimes. It was definitely a bit more of an even kind of handed series throughout.
I would be really surprised if anyone domestically is getting a super stomp against this iteration of Red Canids.
Yeah,
I think just winning.
It's just the right thing.
Red Canids has been playing so well this entire split that just winning a series against them is like, oh, okay, you're like a serious team, huh? Like they're at that level where it's not like they're not we talked about teams on the broadcast yesterday of like, you must be this tall to ride. Whereas Red Canids are they're not a height check, they're like a gut check. Like if you are a serious team, you need to be able to like compete with these guys. These are not like the minimum standard, they are like the pinnacle. This is the team to like aim for. And so Furia taking a series off them, even if it wasn't like clean, is still like looks really good for their playoff chances, looks really good for their cup run. And it's like you said, it gets a monkey off their backs. I think it was like 4 straight series losses to Red.
Yeah.
And
after Furia
tonked last week.
Yeah, and after Furia had started putting together some really suspicious games in the last few weeks, man, they were looking like
last
different
week was...
teams logged in every time they got on the Rift. It was very odd.
Last week was something else, man. From Furia, just the game 1 turbo throw was brilliant. I gotta say, but that's not what we were talking about.
And again, like realistically, if you look at it that way, they've only lost 5% of one game that entire series, right? It was enough to lose an entire point, but like they put together, they stomped Loud 3 times and lost one game. You know, it was tough. So I guess the middle game wasn't a stomp, but they stomped them twice and beat them once and lost one of the other games. So like Furia is just incredibly hard to they're becoming, the variance is still pretty wide. This was a bit more consistent because they, as you say, Bren, they couldn't super stomp. No one super stomps Red right now. They're too good. So all the wins were earned. They took a long time. They had to fight and scratch and claw for every kind of inch. But so the first game, they kind of just got behind against Red, because Red's early game is really good, and Furia's early game is pretty suspicious at times, the best at times. They got behind, they never really managed to get back. They kept it even, it was like a very close game, but ultimately Red just stayed ahead, they didn't throw anything, and they went into like those pivotal team fights a little bit ahead, and they played it out well, that's fair enough. Second game, though, Tatu, like, hitches up the big boy jungle carry pants and goes, this Steps guy is getting far too much coverage, bro. They're like talking about him. They're not talking about me anymore. And drops like an absolutely unbelievable Pantheon game. He's like 10 plus and 1, and Steps is like 0 and X. He gets completely blasted. And Tatu is like, nah, this guy, I've never heard of this guy. This is my league. So
yeah, and that was like, you know. And it was sick to see, right? Like a great 10-0.
Because that was like the matchup that we wanted here. Steps K2 was like the focal point.
Absolutely. But, you know, like, I mean, look, they won the series, so I'm not trying to, you know, like, I don't want to knock the guy too hard. But, you know, and then he did it on Zahen as well, right? Not like a super stomp game, but he got everybody. I was really sussed out about that draft. Twisted Fate makes me nervous in the big 2-6, but
it does
when you've got IU on a hyper carry and a tank, like it's okay.
It looks so good. It's the strengths of the champion. It's just a champion that, like, if you can play it and you can play with it, it's never irrelevant because of how you can use it. Normally, like,
you show up, right click someone, and change the timbre of a team fight.
Yeah, with Furia's tendency to just like pick 5v5 team fighters and just go and team fight, it doesn't fit that like at all. Like, it's a pick global champion. So I was a bit like, is this like what we're doing now? I'm not sure. Do we know how to do this still? And Tuts was like, knew exactly what to do. It seems like he was knows what to do, which is ult bot lane. and
I do want to say, part of that felt like Red Knids just maybe hadn't seen a Twisted Fate in a while or something and forgot what he did.
Yeah.
Because there were so many times where that top lane was pushed all the way to Furious Tower, and I was like, oh, he's pressing the Destiny button. Wonder where he's going.
Yeah. It's they got put on the swivel a little bit by the TF. And I think there was like some positioning issues like around some of these plays. Like, they were being started by gold cards, which, like, unless you're making him flash at you and die for it, which sometimes they did, but like, we shouldn't be in range of the gold card, guys. Like, that's just, you just can't be in range of the gold card. And they kind of failed to space properly, which let Fury in a little bit. And yeah, the fights were still well fought, but ultimately, yeah, the Tuts TF hit, so that was pretty cool to see. I don't think Kaze had the best series. I think he was like a little bit off form, just a smidge. But again, that's just, I don't know, it's just the Tuts effect, man. He's a neutralizer somehow.
Yeah.
So only the best wins.
And that's kind of the I think the fun question looking ahead to like best of fives, right? Is, can Tuts be more than, I think one question, can Tuts be more than a neutralizer? And two, do Fourier need him to be anything more than a neutralizer? Right? Can they stick him on, you know, like, I mean, like Annie and TF, they're kind of the same champion in a sense, right?
Don't
you show up
too close and you're fine.
Yep, you execute one bit of CC and then you just kind of
like, okay, guys,
just don't feed them any extra gold. Yes, exactly. Right, and you know, and then he played the Orianna, and the Orianna's the Orianna. But like, but yeah, no, I think the Tuts question with Furia is, I feel like that's the ever present question. I mean, the fact that Gigo exists on this team, and we're talking about Tuts as the most like high variance part of the squad.
Gigo's been
I think it's
frying recently. He's been
great.
He's been really good.
We haven't talked about Gigo at all.
No, which is a good sign. Yeah, it's like a
exactly.
He's just Gi God every game right now.
Yeah,
because like top lane, it's so often, especially for a player like Gigo with a team like Furia, where your jungle will pick the Aatrox, like he will play the carries when they're open, and IU is getting so much attention, is doing so much work with it. Gigo is just going to be on Sion and K'Sante every single game, every single series until they're picked away. Like, they're just going to put him on tanks, which is fine because his K'Sante is absolutely cooking. He's really good at these tanks. He's a player like FMB, like Robo in his good days when like you just can't, you can get 15 CS on him, but you cannot be more useful than him in the game. You just can't be. So like, he is doing absolutely what he needs to do, but Furia has always been a team that has more carries than they need. So Tuts doesn't have to be that guy. His like the Tuts carry games have looked the least effective. The Akali games and the Ari games, like they've not looked as good. His decision making hasn't been as on point. And it's the TF game, it's the Talia games of past, it's the Victor games. These are the ones, you know, the Rise games. These are the ones that I like for Tuts right now. He's just he's the rock when they draft it for him, and when he gets given more agency, I don't think it helps them. I think he suffers for it right now, which is not a great place to be in, but he does also have a pool a mile deep when he's willing to go for TF and these kind of things. So you mentioned about the series and the best of fives, like Tuts is, you can't run him out of champs. There's just no way. And mid does feel like it has a lot of viability right now, so that's a benefit for them, I suppose.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and again, we're looking forward to another hopefully another long Furia playoff run, man. Because I mean, I don't, I still I'm thinking ahead to like the tier list, right? Where am I going to put a lot of these players? And I think what I'm going to do is like it's going to be like I'm going to put most Furia players aside from like the bottom lane, essentially is what I'm saying. Like I'm going to figure out where I'm going to put the other 7. And then by process of elimination, I guess I'll just be like, yeah, well, he's not better than this guy. He's been a little better than this guy, I suppose. But it's like I'm Furia are just they're a foil right now. Yeah. They're completely based off my perceptions of others because they ended on a high, and that's great for them.
And they're going to be the most S-ranked 4th place team again. you know, so the 3rd split in a row or whatever. It's just we have to see them now. Like the longer the series goes, theoretically, the more it should benefit them because you have more and more time to average out the highs and lows to get to like you can throw 2 games in one series and still win it now. So maybe Furia is going to benefit here, Brent.
Yeah, game 1's like a super turbo throw. Game 2 is rocky but winnable. Game 3 is like Furia a normal superstar. Game of League of Legends. Well, I guess so far it's been game 3's Furia.
Yeah, but then after game 3, we don't know. We don't know what happens after game 3. Like, they might be normal league.
Does Furia start setting records for fastest tier 1 esports game of all time? Like the opponent actually FFs.
Yeah, we go down to they start beating their own 60-minute record from a few years ago, like where. Or does it reset and they throw game 4 and have a rocky win in game 5 and win the series 3-2? You know, does it just loop forever and ever?
Oh yeah, does it loop? Oh well, we'll have
These are the universal parameters of Furia that we're just gonna have to find out because it's very hard to tell.
Are we suggesting that Furia does not play League of Legends? League of Legends happens to them.
I don't know what they do, man. I don't know what's going on in the back rooms there. It's not. I don't know if it's League, but something comes out. Okay, the second day kicked off with Fluxu Los, which was the most mid-table series of all time. Los takes it 2-1. It's pretty back and forth. Everybody's kind of a bit fast and loose. Like Fluxu and Los do now have, or Los is always just like stacked with individual talent and doesn't look super great together. Fluxu are more than the sum of their parts, and their talent is looking a bit more like it's where it's supposed to be. People like Peach and Bao are doing more closer to kind of the floor that we thought they would have. But ultimately, Los Grandes were too strong. Their hands were too good, and they were able to take the win. So Fluxu settles into 5th. Los is 4th. So they do just about pip the 4-4 expectation. But to be fair, they are still the same score as Fluxu in 5th, and only kind of have the head over them. They have a worse game record than Fluxu. So it's all a bit, you know, it's all the same.
Yeah. It is a bit F's in the chat for Fluxu that they lost 3 series, and 2 of them are the ones that mattered for the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
You lost to Red because everyone lost to Red, except for Furia.
Yeah.
But your losses also, the other 2 losses also happen to be to the 2 most inopportune ones as far as seeding is concerned. So that's rough. Yeah. Now, it would have only gotten you up to 3rd, and that would have, matched you up with a date with Loud, which
could be great or terrible.
How safe is that, really? Yeah.
Who knows? It's really impossible to say. But it was a fun series.
Grandes again, though. Yeah, it was fun. I think for Fluxu's woes, though, they feel like they're like, they kind of, we say this every split about Fluxu, that like they're scaling, guys. They're getting better. Like they are definitively better than the last time we saw Fluxu. And that's inarguable. The last time we saw Fluxu, they were pretty bad. Like they are getting better, but they still feel like very swingy. Like we talked about, they played like the least games of any team. Like they're tied for least games, I think, with Vivocade, because they mostly got 0-2'd or 2-0'd. They like did not play very many game 3s, which, whether that's a sign of like, a team trying to like win really hard and falling short, or whether that's just the way they are, is up in the air. But yeah, Fluxu they're I'm not going to say they're hard to get a beat on. I think we know exactly about where they are. It's just that the rest of the mid-table is so muddy that I can still see them like making a go of it if like the cards fall their way, but I think they're going to have to turn it up quite a bit.
I think they're still pretty reliant individually on Peach and Cody. I think that, I don't know what happened. Someone said to them, like, you guys just have to play like your psychopaths against Los, because they were like really going for hero stuff like all the time. Like they were re-engaging fights after they were done just to try and trick them. They were diving miles into the enemy jungle to follow for kills that they might get and will definitely die for, and then maybe got it, maybe didn't, definitely died for it. Like they were definitely the looser of the two, I think. Like Los Grandes isn't necessarily as loose as they maybe look, but they're more calculated, they're just very aggressive. But Fluxu were also very aggressive and I think less calculated, which just let them down. And against a team like Los, like if you give them a lead, they're not going to waste it, but they're not always the most consistent at getting that lead, because if they do get out macroed, like they don't really have a solution to getting outmaneuvered. And Fluxu was just like, we'll scrap, we'll fight you like all the time over everything. And that's a tough beat to take against Los, and they just kind of lost over the course of a best of 3. So. Yeah, they don't look. They still look rough around the edges. The rough parts still look very rough. I think Curti still is really questionable.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, Peach has still ended decently. Like he's still playing on the line, but I think he's still getting the right of it most times. Cody is just pop-up potential out the wazoo, and Momochi is really solid, and I think Bao was just playing like a bit of a freak. I think like he's normally chiller than that and more reliable than that. He was just like somebody over caffeinated him or something, and he just went a bit crazy. So Fluxu, like they're a fun team. You can't ignore them. They're a very like they're a solid trip hazard in playoffs.
Yes,
and
well, especially if they keep playing like this. I mean, if they, like you said, if they keep playing on the edge like this, right? Yeah. They're just going to throw like some chaos into your mainly your jungle, right? Especially if Peach keeps playing like a psychopath.
You need a plan,
and they keep kind of just going forward. And look, I mean, with Fluxu, right? There is enough individual talent that is this just the recipe, right? Is this how you punch above your weight? You just keep kind of throwing stuff at other teams and see if they can react, right? See if they can play enough of a counterpunch sort of game to be able to take on what Fluxu is going to throw at you. Because if you're not prepared, if you're not on your P's and Q's, Fluxu, shoot, even Los Grandes, they have enough to knock you out, right? I do think if I was to power rank these 6 teams like right in this moment right now, I was going to say they'd be my bottom 2, but actually Vivocade existed. They looked rough in that series against Loud. But I think I don't know. It's craziness to say. I'll just do it right now. I think my top 3 are Red, Furia, Loud, and Loud. That was just as soon as I thought I was out, they reel me back in.
They pull me back in.
We can't.
They pull me back in.
Not again.
They pull me back in,
and then stopping them getting away with it, and now we're letting them get away with it again.
But the gap between the bottom 3 and Loud is not that big. And I think that
no.
they're, like all these bottom three teams are enough. Los and Fluxu specifically, they have enough individual talent and have proven to be enough of chaos engines to where they could take a series off anybody.
Yeah. I think I agree with that quite a lot. I think that's like a lesson that I think a lot more like underdog teams, the underdog regions need to take when they're playing the League of Legends. Is like, if you play cromulent, fine, standard League of Legends and you go up against a team that's better than you, you're gonna lose because they're just gonna do the normal League of Legends as well, but they're gonna do it better than you do. You have to just start throwing spanners in the works and like hope you're crazy enough that it catches them off guard and they don't know how to keep up with your playstyle. Don't play on the normal terms just because that's what you're supposed to do. You got to play to win.
Yeah, you need an edge. You need to take some 60-40s. You can't just be following the flowchart all day because they've got the same flowchart. So it's
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So they end up 4th and 5th, so they're just going to play each other again in the first round of playoffs. So we'll get a real best of 5, and we'll find out who's really better. It seems like it was Los last time, but as we say, Fluxu did put up some pretty strong wins. They have a better win percentage, and we'll see if they can tell us something else the next time around. And the last series was Loud VKS, which was meant to be VKS's glorious triumph, knocking Loud out of playoffs after Leviathan had beaten Pain, and the gut punches just kept coming as Loud just kind of folded VKS up and tossed them out with the rest of the garbage, man. It was Championship Loud back, and VKS were all over the shop once again. We've taken 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, and then 3 steps forward and 1 step back, and then a step forward and 3 steps back, and we've ended up exactly where we started, it feels like. And who knows if VKS has actually made any progress in this split at this point, because not in that series. Not in that series they didn't.
This team frustrates me so much.
Yeah. I think the unfortunate part is I think game 1 was kind of the most damning because you were within striking distance at various points, and it's not like you got absolutely dog walked, and you couldn't take advantage of, I guess, I don't know, the holes that this composition that really has some pick potential, has a lot of damage. You've got 3-4 like legitimate carry threats in this composition, but in a 43-minute game, you're telling me you found no windows into this composition. That was kind of the most damning thing for me. You got no neutral objectives. You got 3 towers, and that's it. Game 2, you kind of just got walked. Okay, that happens, I suppose. But maybe the charitable interpretation is to give more credit to Loud, and I think they do deserve some credit, right? Because that was a close game, and they found their way out of it. But for Sorolu to have close to 100% KP on the Nocturne, and you to like do the thing that your comp says that you should do, and then get nothing on the map out of it, that is so like anti-Vivocade stars. That is like when they were at the peak of their powers. That is exactly the opposite of what we could count on them to do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be so honest. I don't remember game 1. Like I was there. I was on the cast talking about the game. Like it's genuinely not, all I remember is Alfonso.
Yes, Alfonso the Cloud Drake.
I only remember Alfonso the Cloud Drake. I remember that we had a Cloud Drake alive for longer than most.
Yes, I think it was 29 minutes maybe was the time before.
It was 30. It got into the 30s.
30 plus minutes, which is
he died at like minute
even for the CBLOL.
So he was alive for like 31 minutes.
Ridiculous.
I never thought I would see that.
No, we used to have a little jape and a joke about a 15-minute first Baron in the CBLOL, but here we are now.
No. Like the Michael Jordan, like the gift.
Yeah.
No. So like that game, it just felt like it did feel close for Vivocade, but how much of that is because Loud would just win a fight and then just like farm a lane and not like why is no one when they finally went over to Alfonso's drag pit and me and Dia freak out because oh my god they're gonna take a dragon. It took them like 20 seconds to kill him.
Yeah, like we could have just
it was barely any we could have done that
somewhere.
at any time.
Yeah, like it felt like so inevitable watching that first game, just like because VKS just seemed unable to put anything together on the map, like no plays, like we're just gonna go to Loud time. We're going to go to 30 plus minutes. You're going to run out of steam, and Loud's just going to start winning because that's what they always do. And like you need to like win the game at some point, VKS, and they couldn't do it. And as soon as they like lost that first fight, it's like the game's over. I don't need to see the next 15 minutes of gameplay. Like we're done here. Like let's just go next. And it just kind of gradually eked out. I think Miryu is still, as I said, he is still very much not all there. And Seo, I think, also had a pretty down series. I think he suffered a lot. Second game, he dies at like level 1. I think he dies to a level 2 advantage in the second game, which is illegal. It's very illegal. He didn't get brush camped or anything. They weren't like scrapping it out 2v2, getting over the lane, and it was like a fine margin. He died flashing to safety under his own tower and dying anyway. That's embarrassing, bro. Like this is just not like a good day for VKS. So, and like then they get a kill mid, and then they get a kill top, and then they get another kill mid, and Loud's like 5-1 before you've even noticed what's going on, and the second game was just a disaster for VKS. So I don't know, man. If you give Loud everything, they'll certainly take it. You know, they're not useless behind the wheel. They have laners that can play. And a jungler who can play, certainly. And if you leave the door open, they will walk through it. But it still felt like, you know, Furia doesn't let Loud get to do that in game 1. Red doesn't let Loud do that in game 1. Like, well, Furia kind of did let Loud do that in game 1, actually, in their series. So Red wouldn't let Loud do that in game 1, I will say.
Red wouldn't do that.
I feel like even Los wouldn't, you know? Los would, like, be doing stuff. They'd be running around and like try to make things happen, you know, for good or ill. We wouldn't just be like as kind of neutered as VKS felt. So I don't know, man. It's Los is 6th, and they just beat VKS, and feels like they could beat anyone except Red. I have faith that Red would not fall for this trickery at this current form.
Dude, that second game was just so like you talked about. They gave over that early kill, but just everything VKS did felt illegal. Like you look at the enemy team, you're like, oh, dude, they drafted Jhin, they drafted Kiana. Like they have no answer to an Ornn, and Ornn's just gonna get stronger if we can get him to, you know, the thing that tanks do and get to level 20. And we just put our team so massively behind that like. Like Ornn died. It took longer for him to die than everyone else, but like he died in still a relatively normal amount of time. Like,
yeah,
you know,
it feels like
we've seen the solution and we just ignored it. I don't know.
This VKS roster has to have better macro than everyone else, or they can't win. Like, and when they don't have the macro on point.
I was gonna say I got bad news for you, Tracy.
Exactly, they look painfully mid if they don't have the best macro. Weiser and Miryu are both notably underwhelming in terms of laning. Sorolo is a fresh promotion rookie jungler and has good games and bad games. And Seo and Kaiwing are the best part, but when they have an off day, there's just nothing. There's nothing there when Seo isn't ready to prop them up from the middle. Like, it's this VKS roster feels like it's flagging unless they suddenly click to all be rowing in the right direction. The formula suddenly balances, and then now we've got a good macro and we all know we're playing on the right page. Now you can outmaneuver your opponents. But if they don't have that, they're just lagging and kind of bogged down in the mud, you know? So
yeah.
And going to playoffs, it's not the time to be bogged down in the mud, guys. This is when we need momentum, perhaps, you could say. Like Loud has for some reason. And you know.
Yeah, but by the time the series came up, we knew the standings because VKS, like I said, VKS lost, they're still 3rd. Loud won, they're still 6th. Like that game had no impact on the standings,
and they have to
but
play
it still felt like it mattered. It mattered a lot. Yeah, also interesting that like both our day 2 teams this weekend are just playing each other again next weekend. But it mattered a lot. I feel like the VKS series because both those teams, I feel like, desperately wanted that momentum going into playoffs. Loud won that series in like a fairly convincing fashion. We're going, Loud might be genuinely the 3rd best team at 6th position. But if VKS wins that series like in a convincing manner, are we going like, yeah, no, they're the third best team right behind Furia? I think so.
Probably.
I think genuinely that series massively warped our perception of this entire standings without changing the standings.
Yeah. We don't know what's going on, bro. I'll be honest. We throw our hands up sometimes. We just don't know what's going on. Red's good. That's what we know. Okay. So let's quickly take a look at Fantasy. For the round, Paradox topped it up. He made some great bets on Loud players that, Uzent came in massive for him that not many people were making. And RMC, followed by Dark Knight, followed by myself, followed by Ray, who, despite the underwhelming start, did manage to stay ahead of Lunar, so the mission stays alive just about. But this was a tough week for a lot of people. This is our best score was 135. No one else was really higher than 115-ish. We had a lot of negative hundreds or sub 100s because the results were just all... The results were the results that nobody wanted, really. Like, except for the Furia one, potentially. Like, I wanted that, but I don't mind who wins that series, necessarily.
Yeah,
people wanted Lev. They wanted Loud to get punished for being sus and being, like, underwhelming champs. Like, they wanted Lev to do the story. They, it was... Nothing really went the crowd's way this
most
week.
Of the results felt like the wrong results for narrative tension.
Yeah.
Like, it was just...
Yeah, we had a lot of exciting stories going in that ended up unraveling at the very end, sadly. So we will have to start fresh in playoffs with again the same. We start again with the same matches, like a new storyline now. Forget that, no context. Start again, same setups. Now we look forward to playoffs. The split rankings, I believe, are roughly the same. So Ray's managed to keep a hold of the lead, and Acheron is in second place, just one ahead of Lunar, so managed to hold the lead relatively equal. Lizard behind, and then Paradox in fifth. So what's that between Ray and Lunar?
Right? They are 70 points ahead of second place.
Yeah, Ray has still got a big bumper crop to keep him safe through playoffs. But playoffs, if given how ridiculous the last week was in terms of just everything people wanted to happen just didn't happen, it's very easy to lose 50 points on a week by just getting all the wrong horses backed. So we'll see if Ray can hold on to it. Right now, we don't need to necessarily talk too much about the schedule because it's like I say, it's the same matchups. Like we've already seen how this goes because we just saw it. Losum Fluxu and VKS and Loud. That is what's coming up this weekend as well on Saturday and Sunday. Week after that will be round 2 with Red and Furia playing the winners. And there is right of selection that Red should have, I believe. So because as the first seed, Red will be able to choose which one they want to play, depending on who promotes. I mean, realistically, you probably pick whoever wins the Lost Fluxu match, to be honest, if you're Red.
Yes.
Because VKS and Loud are too weird. Like, just they can, especially if it's Loud. Like, no thanks. Let's not.
They can make you look really stupid for picking them.
yeah, and I'm sure Red would like Furia to just take the reins and knock Loud about a bit if they can.
Yep.
So, okay, right. Let's skip forward and let's take a look at some tier listing. Let's rank some gosh darn players.
Let's go.
Oh boy.
Let's freaking go. Okay, so we have the usual format here. The rookies are highlighted in green. Now, we have a lot of split time. We had 3 kind of substitutions mid or around the split here. Uzent, Samkase, and Sorolu. So Samkase is on here. I'm down to leave him. Just to show some mercy here and leave him off the tier list. I think he played 2 series and was subbed out. And paying out in playoffs. Whereas Sorolu, I would feel better about because the expectation is still that he will continue to play in playoffs. We haven't heard anything about the Samus being swapped back in yet. So
yeah. Now this is on a Monday, but I feel like also by Monday, maybe Tuesday, usually we get the news of the roster shenanigans. I don't know, maybe not, but either way, we can we can say Sorolu, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah. And then, so Redbert is also there because Redbert did play like 3 or 4 series, I think, before getting spubbed out. So I'm keeping him on there. Okay, right. So let's start. Let's get started with top lane. We've actually got some pretty cool choices here. The entire Brazilian community decided that Shino was the best top laner after like 2 weeks of CBLOL Cup. So, do we think that they're right?
I think he has been like he hasn't been he's been the most consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I would say actually either him or Gigo.
Yeah,
that's what. So what I was gonna say is like Gigo's been so consistent, but I feel like for Loud having a much worse roster, Shino has never looked like the problem.
Yeah, ever. Even when Loud was like properly embarrassing themselves, Shino was. I think the only time he's embarrassed himself a little bit was the Vayne top game. Because he shouldn't have
been. That did happen.
You know what? Like, and Gigo gets points for not picking Vayne top and looking like a fool, you know? Points to Gigo for not being like, give me Vayne.
And kind of in that same vein, I think, no pun intended, I think Shino gets more points for me because the rest of the roster was less consistent.
Yeah.
Right? I think if Shino was on a better roster, I think he would be looked at less favorably in my eyes. But I think just like, and it's also the nature of top lane. It is so isolated, right? So like it is so easy to tunnel on just like, are you saucing someone in the 1v1s? Mm-hmm. And Shino more often than not was saucing people.
Yeah, I mean, he had that like 10 kill Cassante game and he's still pulling Rek'Sai counters when he needs to. And like he is
in 2026.
Yeah, man.
Cassante
like
carry games.
I think it probably is
anymore.
I think he probably is the man.
Yeah. But I'd be willing to listen to other arguments, but I think those two are the only guys that are in S tier for me.
Yeah.
Can Zints break out of high A? I don't think he's S tier.
Not yet for me. I think his first couple of weeks
he's in A. He's in A.
Yes, his first couple of weeks were a bit low. His pop-offs were huge, and his upside is very clear, but he's a little inconsistent still, and I think he was he's not as reliable as Shino and Gigo, who just don't mess up. And Gigo especially still has that, as I said before, that very much like, I don't care if I have a matchup where I have to lose the lane. You cannot be more useful than me. You cannot be more useful than my Sion in this team fight, dude. I don't care if you're like Ambessa is 3-1. Like, I'm going to be more valuable than you. But yeah, I think Shino absolutely has that same kind of energy. And yeah, if you put him on. Yeah, I mean, he's just the kind of guy where it feels like you can put him on any team and he'd be sick. Like, he just doesn't need anything from his team.
I don't know that he's necessarily like a straight up, like, oh, you plug him into any roster and their roster, like, instantly gets better. But he's not going to make it worse.
Not necessarily like, better, but definitely not worse, Like
he's going to work.
He might be that guy. I just don't think there's enough data just yet. And also, like,
true.
You're on the best team in the league, right? Like,
he is.
I don't like even though top lane is the one role that is very easy to divorce. Like, if you are on a good team and you are a bad top laner, because we've seen plenty of those in CBLOL, obviously. Yeah. So it is easy to stand out if you are just a bad top laner. He's not a bad top laner, but if you're on the best team in the league, right? There's only so bad you can look.
Yeah. I'm thinking Zints and Zest for A. Does anyone think Zest is still A or not A? Still?
I think he's still holding on to A.
Maybe it's recency bias because the series I cast them, he looked pretty dang good.
Yeah, he ended on a high, that's for sure. He was cooking.
And
also it's for me, I just everybody else.
Yeah, if we're like considering the cup, even if we're considering the cup as well, like I'm not sure who, other than the three we have otherwise talked about, who amongst these guys I'm putting above Zest. Like, not really.
I can't put anyone else above Zest. That's where I land.
Yeah, because we didn't do a cup tier list, but we're not necessarily so like I haven't included FNB on this list, even though he played in the cup. So like, but it's people who played in Split 1, and we can consider the year to this point for everyone we're looking at here. But yeah, so I think this is fair. I think Zest still, the highs are unbelievable. Like his 1v1's still really strong. I don't think he's, again, if it wasn't for the Vayne top game, there'd be very, very few downers that weren't involved with him getting Omega camped by the enemy jungle top and the rest of his team not being able to do anything with that fact, which again is a bit of a top lane moment. So I think that's fine. Okay, hang on. So Yeah, we've now run out of good top laners. So
yeah, we're
Yes.
firmly in the mid section where they're all mid.
I'll be honest, I would only put Weiser in B, and I wouldn't put anyone else even as high as B.
I wouldn't even put Weiser near the. I think Weiser's in the middle of B. I feel like Weiser is the most mid top laner to be mid.
I was gonna say I'd put him in middle or bottom of B.
He's really there. He certainly is there. There he is.
He's a guy, and he's on that team.
There he is.
We are just out here existing.
And now we're into Robo, Devast, and Curti, and like,
woof.
Curti at least has elevated himself out of D tier for me, which before he was a D tier top laner for me. RMC always had more faith in this guy. I was not sold, but I've seen enough where I take him out.
In CD, he was a demon. He was even like when I was watching CD regularly, which is obviously way less time than him. But on Loud, I watched him do some crazy stuff, man. Yeah. Like the ceiling is clearly there.
And he was not asleep in these Fluxu wins. Like he's still like very unreliable, but like Devast really hasn't been able to make it. Devast is like the more reliable version of Curti for me right now.
I'd agree with that.
And then Robo, like I said this last week or the week before, like I'm ready to. Robo is going on a career break, and I think it's a good time, bro. Like I was ready for him to go forever after the last couple of weeks of Robo play. Like I was. Again, it's the Vayne top game. It's always the Vayne top game.
So then here's the question: Who's in C and who's in D?
Because
I would put
definitely
Curti in C.
Is in C. I think his highs are high enough that he's not D tier.
I'd put them all here.
And if Devos is just reliable, like less like higher floor, lower ceiling Curti, then is he not then also just kind of in C?
Maybe I would go Devast, Robo,
Curti.
Maybe.
Oh, interesting. I had that flipped around in my head.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would swap Curti and Devast, but
that's interesting.
Well, I actually kind of had Robo as my worst top laner in the split.
And like, Leviathan didn't win a single. They beat Loud, but again, that's like
it's because Loud's.
So Devast has beaten Shino, is what you're telling me.
Better than Shino.
True. Yeah.
Let's put.
I think I'm probably still too mad. So what if it was
we'll reward winning.
We'll reward winning games in this League of Legends tournament. Yeah. And
then
these guys are all in the doghouse. You know.
Yes.
C for doghouse.
I think my thing is that like Devast and Robo both die like not at a massive clip higher than Curti does, fun fact, but like at a high enough rate that I'm like
yeah.
Like and Fluxu does have like a positive win rate game score. My goodness, Leviathan did not win any games. It's just like it's still astounding.
And like we weren't seeing Devast do the same things he was doing before, unless I've completely lost my mind. Like he was not actually.
Yeah, I think
no.
I do.
Yeah, he's
actually. I was
kindly.
Perhaps I was biased because I don't know. I think Robo is better. I think he's better than the performance he was showing, and we saw him play so well last year that I think I'm more mad at him. But like just taking a quick glance at the stats, I do think Devos is our worst top laner, which is
I really think Robo is in a bad team environment, and I don't think he's a good player I don't think he's a player that helps the team environment or a team strategy at all on the best of times. I think he's too much himself. Rob Stay is too powerful, and this was the worst scenario for a player like Robo to be in. Like there's just no stability at all to cover for his variances. Okay, jungle. Now this is kind of interesting because Tattoo and Steps just played, and I think in 2 out of 3 games Steps was ahead. Third one was a Jace game where he didn't really do anything. But you're Jace jungle, and
He
at some
like
point,
almost did a bunch of stuff. He landed a couple shock blasts that were like,
Yeah,
whoa, but
at
like
some
they weren't
point,
like around team
you-
fights. They were like, oh, I
Yeah.
found like the Lulu and just like blasted her to half health, and it's like and then like
But
nothing.
no, yeah, and you can't do the J4 engage. You can't do the Pantheon flank on Jace. Just as all the champion does, right? Like you can't even do the Aatrox 1v9 on Jace. Like it's just such a specific champion. So I don't really blame him for that. I think over the course of the split, I think it's probably Steps.
Yeah, no, I think Tatu unfortunately had some very low lows.
He did,
and Steps' lows I don't think were as low, and I think that's kind of all I have to say about that.
The only thing that makes me like, my gut instinct is always like I start thinking with my heart instead of my head. I think logically that's definitely Steps is higher than Tatu. I don't want to say by that much though. I want to preface that. I don't think there's
and I still think Tatu has the higher ceiling. But like if we're talking just performance on that, like you can't just throw out the clangers from Tatu.
That's true. Some of me wants to give Tatu credit, like just because sometimes it feels like they have Ayu, they have Gigo, and yet it is Tatu that is like the carry engine of Furia in a lot of the games, and so there's more opportunities for some turbo clangers.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think Steps has been really consistent, and which is hard from a rookie jungler. Like. Jungle is perhaps the position where experience, I think, gives you the most value.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. I think that's fair. I think Steps and Tatu are
right to me.
In a league of their own, pretty clearly. We've got Young Jay. We've got
that was the next one up.
We've got the return of the return like he was ever here. We've got Peach. We've got Carioca. And
this is difficult. This
a lot of jungler substitutions this split.
A lot of jungle subs, yeah.
Because Drake Hero was good until he wasn't. To oversimplify things,
I think
Peach was bad until he wasn't.
Yeah. I think Peach has been good, basically, for the vast majority of this split, at least. Like, and even in their losses, I think Peach is notably better, and he's not he was a real problem before, but I think even in their losses, he's not as much of a problem. And Young Jay just has, like, he's got that super high ceiling. He's like, when it works, it just looks completely unbeatable, and he's just killing everybody everywhere.
Is Young Jay the most loud player on this current loud?
Yeah.
Because he feels Young Jay feels like a turbo flipper. He's guy's
Croc.
either
Young Jay is Croc.
It's Croc. Croc is back. Welcome back, Croc.
Yeah. But now we have in a league where we now have Tatu and Steps, and it's not just Croc versus Carioca every year. Where Carioca can get intimidated a little bit, I fear, by our flashiest junglers.
I mean, Young Jay just feels like he's either the guy, and you're gonna look at him the whole game and be like, dude, this guy is easily top 3, and then he'll have a game where you're like, you forget he's there. You're like, doing the.
Like, I kind of want to put Peach at bottom of A, but I would accept probably top of B instead, or somewhere in B instead. But worse than Young Jay. And I don't know where Carioca goes, I'll be honest.
No, I think Young Jay and Peach are the two guys I'm putting in A.
Yeah. Like, we need to give some daylight. Between the S tier lads.
I definitely that feels right. None of the S tier lads so far in either role have been so good that they're like clearly top of the pack. But then none of the A tier lads have been so good that they're almost S tier. There's some things to be worked on before they're at that level. So,
and we've got Drake Hero, Desamis, Karaoke, I guess. I mean, Curse has played one series, which was fine.
Because like, so
we could potentially leave Curse off for playing literally one series. I mean, that's probably fair.
Yeah,
we know
yeah.
Curse is
I think
fine.
one series.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's a good jungler.
You're a good,
He's a cool guy. I like that guy.
Well, I'll leave him on here, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put him on the thing.
Yeah.
So Drake Hero, Karaoke, Dasamus. Dasamus has been subbed out. Was he like having a nightmare? I don't remember him necessarily.
Let me go ahead and look at some Vivocade
Drake
stats.
Hero. We need Drake Hero, Dasamus,
Karaoke,
Bookie, and Karaoke.
Bookie, I think, just has to go tumble down into the depths, I fear.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So Dasamus is second last in the league in one of my favorite stats to look at junglers, which is kill participation percent. The only person behind him is Curse. He had only 60% kill participation, so he was like, that tells me you're not like affecting the map, you're not like ganking efficiently, right?
Yeah.
Average share of vision score, he was doing not much work. Like, let me look at the match results, but I feel like Dasamus like got benched for a reason. You know, like it was never so egregious at any one time that it was like, okay, this is the thing that got him benched. But I don't think he was having a good split for certain.
Yeah. I definitely want to give Karaoke credit for what he did with this Pain roster. But and again, because Drake Hero just got benched, but like doesn't feel like he was having like a terrible split. Like
he was just okay. He was just okay.
I'd probably put like Karaoke and then Drake Hero like this in B.
I'm fine with that.
To just be
I'm fine with that.
Here. And then Dasamus can go into C.
And then Bookie bottom of C or top of D. Bookie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, aside from that game where he just clowned on Karaoke last split.
Yeah, we've not seen that again.
No.
So is this Bren? Is this D2? Bren, is this D or is this C?
I think okay. Is he D tier? I think if you just want to look at like the results, like straight up like what the score line says, he kinda but like his underlying metrics aren't that bad. Like he has some parts of the game where he is excelling. But they're few and far between, and they're like by excelling, I mean he's like hitting middle of the pack.
I mean, there's one guy who's going in D tier on this list, but I don't know if anyone else has to. So I'm gonna put him bottom of C for now. We're gonna put him on the same level as Devist. Because again, we've seen like the potential, but we didn't see any of it this split. So he's absent.
Yeah, he's been very quiet. Like I said, if you go and look through, like just like look up the Bookie match history, there's very few games where it's like, oh, this is a super mega turbo clanger, and a lot of them were games against Red Canids and Leviathan, who have our S tier junglers to contend with. But he's got like he didn't have a good series against Pain, but that was like we discussed, that's an outlier from Pain. He's got a lot of like. He's like 1-4 and like has a bunch of assists, or he's like 2-4-3 and he's like fine, like, or he's like has kills but he can't carry. And I think for my money, Bookie might be D tier, just because he doesn't seem to ever like add. He's not like the reason his team is losing, but he's not doing much to help that cause either.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's probably fair, to be honest.
I'm sorry, Bookie. I'm sorry,
sucks,
Lizard
bro.
as well.
Yeah, and this is going to be a tough one for Liz to watch. Okay, mid. Now here's my big swing. I would like to put Kaze at top of S. I think he's absolutely flipping mega goated.
Yeah, wait, no one else is good. No, never mind. We're
I think he is.
It's
so
Kaze
good.
top of S. Cody
Everything.
bottom of S, no one in middle of S.
Yes. Yes.
Because Toots is the very top of A tier.
This is not S. He's in A. He's good.
He's eternally top of A. Just by the
he's
guy
top
is just
tier,
the top of A.
Mr. Almost.
Yes, yeah, A for almost.
Potential man Toots.
Yeah, it's just he
First
is a
team all if, but, and when.
He's a very important. He's an important part of this Furia roster, but he's not that guy. Not right now.
Thank you, mid lane, for being clear cut at least.
But yeah, like Kaze just does everything, man. I said it on the casts, like he just does everything, and he doesn't make silly mistakes anymore. He has like off games where he only goes even with his opponent and doesn't crush them and outperform them every team fight. Like this guy is just he's the real
like,
deal, man. He's so good.
He's
like
top of the league in every believable like metric. He's obviously top in win rate. He's top in KDA. He's got the most average kills. He dies like not that much. It's not just KDA because he's killing people. He's not giving over gold.
Yeah.
He's CSing like fairly well. Like he does everything that you want out of a mid laner. Like generate gold, generate damage. He does. Like there's no flaws.
I think Envy is bottom of A. Personally, I would also accept higher, to be honest, but I'm quite happy with Envy right now.
Yeah, I think he's done the job.
He's kind of Tuts-ish, but he has he has an important role to play. To be honest, that's what it's like. I don't know if he's actually that much worse than Tuts. If putting him too far below, I think might be slightly mean to him. You know?
Yeah, no, I don't think he deserves to be in B.
But like where Loud's mid lane situation was prior to Envy?
Well, yeah, man. Comparison to
I think
to Mr. Margot.
Like one of the things I will say for Envy as opposed to like Tuts and like Tuts and Kaze being on good teams, you'll see things like their damage percent, their share of their team's damage is like kind of low, but that's because everyone else is winning. Envy is top of the league in terms of mid laner damage share. Like he is like when Loud is doing well, a big engine of that is because like he fills a different role than Tuts is kind of what I'm trying to get at. Like Tuts facilitates, we talked about it as like the great neutralizer.
Yeah.
You're never gonna crush Tuts. But like
he's gonna crush
Envy
himself sometimes.
He will sometimes like throw himself off the pier, but Envy will crush you if he gets the chance. So like,
yeah,
I think they're closer than
good. Like
they're closer than the team's standings would definitely make it appear.
Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily responsible for the up and downs of Loud, and it's definitely responsible for some of the ups. I think, but not necessarily super responsible for the downs. So I think we'll put him like this. That's fine.
Loudest, they are going to be the highest ranked 6th place team in history.
Yeah,
look where their roster is so far. SAA.
It's a good team.
It's crazy how good they look 50% of the time. It's
50% of the time.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and look, they've got some credit in the bank, man. They won the cup and they took Lion to 5 games. Like I can't just erase that.
Now, I think Feisty is still a really solid B, like a high B. I think he could have been like in previous splits. I think he's been A material, but I think he's been a little softer in this split. And then I think after that we have to deal with the Mirror question, which is a bit painful. But because I was looking at previous power rankings and tier lists we did, and like Miryu's been in the Kaze spot season MVP like 1 year ago.
No, he has been, and that's the crazy part, man.
Like 6-7 months ago, like he was like literally summer split. We were like, this Mirror guy is the guy. Like he, and like you'll see flashes of it from Mirror, where you're like, oh, he is just better than the guy he's playing against
for like 10 seconds at a time. Yeah,
I think a lot like mechanically he is still, I think, really, really strong. But my God, his decision making has plummeted. Yeah. Like watching the Ari games,
it's just like
yesterday,
whole, right? It's like what
really
did they just?
Yeah,
it really, I don't know what they're reinforced.
Thinking. I can kind of see what they're doing, but I don't know what they're thinking.
He would like hit a charm, and he's like, "All right, it's time to go forward," and like just spirit rush into all 5 enemy players, and I'm like, man, you're not. Even if you pick up the kill, you're still dying.
Yeah, dude. He had like the Fluxu energy about him. Sometimes, you know, it's just like, why have we done this now? Like you were perfectly fine. You could have just walked away from this play and been happy, but you've chosen death, and he chooses death way too many times. For Feisty, top B, mid of B. Does anyone remember?
Feisty B, and I would like to give Kaine some love.
I was gonna say, can we call Kaine like bottom of B? Like,
this is a good thing that RMC isn't here because he'd be fighting for D tier or something.
And maybe it's just because Trigger and Curry have been so awful.
They've been really
and
bad.
They've taken so much of the flack and like the mental energy when I think of how bad Pain have been. But I think Kaine's been fine.
He's been doing. He has just been trying to do stuff. I think he does kind of feel like a bottom of B player. I think that's probably fair. I'm down to give Kaine a bit of love.
I'm looking at it
for trying his damnedest, sort of.
Yeah.
I'd put Feisty. I'd put some daylight between them though. I think Feisty is also like a doing his job kind of guy, but he actually does it more often. And
well, he's been like a win condition before.
And he low key has a lane. Like his laning is actually kind of solid. Like. He's kind of like Envy. Like he's if you sleep on him, he will like slap you about.
Super like metrics put him in the middle of the road, and Feisty. Okay, so Feisty. Here's the thing. One of the things I like mid laners to do is deal damage. Feisty does not very strongly.
He's rarely drafted to do so. Right? He's like playing Gallios and Orianas and stuff that doesn't like top the damage charts most of the time. I think that's just the way they use him.
But the thing that Feisty and Kaine do that like you guys talked about is like you said, their laning is just so strong. Like they are more often than not they're gonna be ahead at like in gold at 15.
Yeah, they're reliable to not like develop a black hole on the map like Trigger and Curry are, like Curry is, like some of these guys that have a big in about them. And then Enga, I think he just kind of has to get put in the Devist hole and just go to bottom of C again. It's like, again, we've not seen anything from him.
No. And every time I think I'm going to, it's like...
It's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
There's an argument. I think Enga's laning has been really bad. He also hasn't been team fighting particularly well. He's usually behind, like not massively, but he is usually behind. Yeah. On gold come to the end of the game or come to the end of laning phase, right? He's not really doing much damage. He's not like
this is potentially putting him
getting himself
in the bookie hole as opposed to the Devist
I
hole.
think he's going in the D tier because he's got the lowest participation of first bloods. Like he's not the victim of it either,
but he's just not doing anything,
which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But
we're seeing him still go to some of these like particular picks like Zoe's and Cassio's and stuff, but we're not seeing it like achieve anything anymore. I think people just learn
it doesn't work. There's one mid laner we learned that can play Zoe apparently, and it's it's Cody.
It's Cody, right? I think Kaz
has
dropped him before, but Cody's Zoe is a lunatic, bro. It's crazy.
I think
mirror middle of C and move out of bot lane.
Yeah, mirror middle of C. He does so much damage, by the way. If you look at his like stats, like his damage is actually insane. But that's because he's a psychopath and just throws himself at the end of the team into the enemy team.
He's always hitting 5 people at once because he's in the middle of 5 people on his own.
So he does
quintuple damage to nobody. Okay. So like this mid is very spread out now, but we do have more like acceptable mids than normal. Normally our mid tier is like 2 or 3 people at the top and then like a big old gap, and then it's like a bunch of sus people at the bottom. So this is we are definitely improving on the mid regard. If Miryu still knew how to play, we'd have a really solid mid pool. But alas.
Oh dude, if Miryu was not just like running it, it would be so good, man.
Okay. Bot lane.
Bot lane gets fun.
Yeah, we've got Ayu, we've got Dudu, we've got Morteus back. There's been a lot of contesting, I think, for our top guys. Loss has lost a bit of steam from Split 1 or from the CBLOL Cup. There's like a probable argument for people to just start putting Dudu at the top. But we now have Morteus back onto Red, who has had a really strong split with Red. And then Ayu, who is being played for like never before and is frontlining like never before and is getting away with it like never before. So
I mean, IU, I think, is definitely our best like AD carry. It's how much better is he than everyone else is kind of the question I'm having. Because like I CL said something to the effect like I want an AD carry to shut up and right click, but like
the CL.
That's not always true because IU he shuts up, he right clicks, and also he like is going to initiate the fight on a marksman.
Yeah, he's not
somehow,
talking,
like,
but he is frontlining on Caitlyn.
But he is
and he's said nothing.
The enemy.
He's pinged nothing, but he's doing it.
Like, if we were still looking at, say, like obviously, you know, because has Morteus played this entire split for Red?
Yeah,
Rebella was there.
The first week, I think Rebella was there.
Rebella was there like the first week, and like,
oh yeah, because the trade wasn't finalized yet. After.
Yeah, and Rebello did the thing where he did the Mirror thing where he like threw himself at people and did a lot of damage and died. And I think Morteus has been like a great answer for Red, but I don't know that Morteus does for Red what IU does for Furia. Like, it's like Tatu we've talked about as the engine that like gets the team going. But once the team is up to speed,
I use the
like,
wheels of that.
Yeah,
truck.
I use the wheels in this because he's the steering wheel, man. Like he makes sure like you're going the right direction, makes you go fast.
He does choose the direction for Furia. He kind of decides what their direction is. I think I'd put him middle of S, IE. I don't think he's as complete as Kaze is, but he's like really right up there again. And yeah, we did see in the Red Furia match, I think IU and JoJo were pretty comfortably the higher performers. Morteus did struggle, I think, a bit when put up against a very oppressive carry duo, and that's kind of more like when we'd start to see Morteus struggle before, is if he could like get... I don't think he's not great when he's in the spotlight and like you have to carry this game because we've got no other options. He is a strong team fighter as part of a whole, but I don't think he's got the same clutch reliance.
I think IU, as good as his like underlying metrics are, as good as his stats are, there is some level of it being kind of like geared towards him because of the way Furia played.
He's being funneled
like, it's kind of skewed because the only other carry on that team is pretty much ever Tatu.
Yeah,
and like jungle carries almost always fall off.
He's being like heat map funneled, but Tatu was also stealing all of his kills. So he's doing a lot with assists.
Gigo's been on tank duty and like on tank duty looking good at it, but like he's been on tank duty. Tuts we talked about as like Mr. Neutralizer, like he's a facilitator, and JoJo's a support. So like it's
and an enchanter. It's just
so like IU gets a lot of like resources, and so I do think it's closer between him and Morteus than it may look. But I still think,
do we think Didu has maintained an S status, or is he dropped
not
to
S?
A?
No.
I think he's an A.
Yeah. Would you?
I think A for me is Morteus, then Dudu, and then I think the last spot in A is interesting because I think you could make.
I think you could make a sale argument for that. I think you could make a
sale argument. I will. Here's my hot take of the day. Snaker goes no lower than B.
True. Real and true.
Snaker goes no lower than B.
Why?
He has been like the only I
think by the way, my hot.
I need to check the numbers on this.
Like I think they got better when he got there, and I think if he were to put Snaker on Pain and Fluxu, they would be better.
So like here's the thing about the Snaker
Trigger goes in D. By the way, Trigger goes in D, and he's been.
I don't think Pain. I could see Fluxu, I suppose, if I can buy into this.
So here's the argument I'm gonna make for Snaker. Okay, you look at his KDA, it's not great. All right, you look at how many times he's killing people for how many times he's dying. It's like it's lower on, but he has a lot of shoulder to burden on a team that is neither like set up to like funnel him the resources nor have the other pieces to like to like look at the other 2 roles. Look at the other 3 roles on Leviathan, man. That was just the very bottom of C.
He's the
D
best player
is
on
like
that team.
Bookie and Enga exclusively.
He's looking respectable with no help.
Like he's playing with milkmen and plumbers, and he's like putting up like not terrible numbers.
The other players on Leviathan are all going to end up as the lowest in this tier list.
Yeah,
I agree.
Snaker will not, and I don't know if I'm ready to say top half, but I think he's around there.
Like, okay, so here's what I want to point out to you. Snaker is second bottom in the league in terms of gold generated per minute, right? Only ahead of Trigger, which sounds really bad until you consider that he's second top of the league in gold percent of his team. Right? Like, in terms of value that Leviathan accrues, it's almost always Snaker accruing it. And because like we said, no one else is like facilitating it. I think any value that he does accrue, he's pretty much doing on his own, with his own 2 hands.
When did he get 5 solo kills? What game was that? When did this happen?
Yeah, all in one game.
I don't know.
It's probably all in the loud match.
That feels like a lie.
That does feel like a lie, doesn't it?
Like, he dies to First Blood a lot, but he also participates in First Blood a lot. Like, he is trying to generate value in the bot lane.
Because... So let's fill out A then. Okay. Let's fill out A. I think it's Dudu and CEO.
Morteus, Dudu, and CEO, maybe.
Or sorry, Morteus, Dudu, CEO. I think for me. Where does Bull go?
Like bottom of B, maybe top of C. I think Bull was a liability, as was his support, and then he got a new support who's better, and he's now less of a liability.
Sounds like top of C for me.
Yeah.
I'd say is Bull, because if you're putting
Bren, Bren, how do you feel about Morteus over Dudu, just to get your check here?
I like Morteus over Dudu.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of low on Dudu. I'll be 100 honest with you. Like, I'm looking at I looked at his match history just because I was like, oh, his damage is like really low for an 80 carry. Let me look at like what champs he's playing and stuff. And he's playing, like, he's getting put on like hard carry champions pretty regularly. Like, looking through his last like 5 games, Corki, Ezreal, Varus, Yunara, Ezreal. Like, we have like some Xayah in there, but it's a lot of Ezreal, like a decent amount of Yunara. Like, he should be pumping out numbers. And like, he's just not putting up the numbers that I think. And I think he has a cast that is like competent enough to facilitate putting up numbers on Yunara, right? Like, so I kind of don't like that he isn't. So I actually like the Morteus over Dudu.
And like, where's Bao? I feel like Bao is the most B tier Bao player. Like, he's the slap bang in the middle. Because he's been better. He's not been like he's not just played Jhin every single game. He has still played Jhin sometimes, and his Jhin actually is good. Like, his Jhin cooks. And he had that Sivir game against Pain, which was like highly illegal the way he was allowed to play that game. But like, generally speaking, him and Momochi have been solid as far as I can tell. Like,
Bao's good. I would make an argument that he might be better than CEO this split, which is like kind of a hard. I don't actually know how hard of an argument that is to make, because like he I think he's been responsible for like a good share of like what his team gets done in fights. Like,
I think CEO's the same. Without like he's been like holding down the fort with VKS in the same way, where Miryu is like just running it into 5 and you know, and Weiser's just kind of there.
Yeah, I think Bao has been playing like really safe and participating in like a lot of kills, which I do kind of like, given the position like that they're in the standings. Like, he's not trying to play hero ball, and I don't think that he is the guy to play hero ball. Like, for if someone's gonna play hero ball for Fluxu, it should be Curdy, right? So
yeah.
Or Peach maybe, but like, so I kind of like what Bao does for the team a little more than I like. I don't know. Maybe I'm just really down on VKS because they ignored Alfonso.
Yeah, I mean, they're just kind of infuriating. I think so. Bao and Bull and I guess Snaker are in this group I would probably put Bao and then
Bow middle of B.
Snaker.
I say Snaker bottom of B. And then Bull top of C. Those are my personal rankings.
Maybe it isn't.
I definitely think of the three that you mentioned, that Bao rather is definitely better than
and
those guys.
Here and here is Snaker and Bull in one or the other order. And am I being too harsh on Bull? Maybe because his grand finals international
I'd hear either one of those,
but maybe his split wasn't that bad.
I don't know, I given the position that Snaker is in, I just think Snaker is doing more than Bull. I think if you put Snaker on a better team, he would look tremendously better. We would be having conversations of, could Snaker crack the A tier? He's not. He's on a really, really bad team.
Insane. So insane. I don't know if I'm being gaslit or something. Someone's gonna people, comments, Discord people, whatever.
I hope we get lit up for this one.
Tell me if I'm being gaslit right now, and I'm just a down to my bones Snaker hater that hasn't watched a single second of his gameplay. I'm not saying that's not true. Both.
I said it was a hot take.
Yeah, my guys are hot on Snaker here on the desk right now.
Yeah,
I'm certainly not hot on Bull. So. And then we can all agree
if you wanted to put
Snaker
top of C and Bull middle of B, I'd be okay with that. Trigger belongs in poo tier, but if you wanted to move Snaker and Bull both down,
Trigger is absolutely egregious statistically, and
I would say Snaker is better than Bull, and so if you want to move Snaker out of B to make yourself feel better,
I think Bull
move them both down one spot.
I think Bull might still be a better AD carry than Snaker, but I don't think he's performed better necessarily this split.
Yeah, I think he's got a higher ceiling. I think I've seen more highs from Bull, but I don't think Snaker's been I don't know, man. I just feel like the rest of the time.
Somebody,
watchers, audience, tell me if these guys are crazy or not. But that's
Bull hasn't been performing. He's been underperforming on a roster that we have noted is otherwise pretty good, right? They have the single best top laner in the league.
Bangs,
their top side bangs so hard. So why are you underperforming? Why are you
guys
so
bad?
No excuses. Snaker at least has the excuses. That's my logic.
And Triggers in duty too. Bot laners completed. Supports now. We're actually kind of blessed with more abundance of riches in the support department than we normally are, because support has been a bit heinous for us for a long time. There's been 2 good ones and the rest. But now we've got Jojo, Frosty, Ackerman, Momochi's had a great debut. Uzent's looking strong out the gate. Even Kaiwing's looking improved from before, so we're we've got more good supports than bad, which is the way this tier list goes, it might end up looking like the strongest role, which is a bit crazy to say, but
yeah.
Is there an argument to say that support is the strongest role? Not as in we have the strongest performers in support, because I think the highest of all our other roles is higher. There's no we'll get into who the top supports are, but none of the top supports are this is when Seos was here and we just had one guy that was clearly better than everybody else. We don't have that much of that anymore, but just the baseline for what a support in the CBLOL is has gone up in 2026, and for my money that's a great thing, because I was getting so sad because I was we used to have Seos and we had rookie Pain Pro Delta, and that was so cool, and then bum.
Oh man.
Oh man.
So Jojo, Frosty, and S. I think what order?
I would still put Jojo first. I think.
Okay with that. I could hear both sides. I genuinely have no strong feelings on.
Yeah.
They should both be an S. I don't think anyone else should be an S. But the order, I don't. It's whatever.
Yeah. Bran, how do you feel about Jojo, Frosty?
I think Jojo better than Frosty because he's such a strong facilitator. We talked about how important it is for Furia's game plan, funnel resources and IU, and Jojo makes that possible.
Yeah.
Like he keeps the early game safe. He's always like on the map. He's participating in kills. He's getting people ahead. There is the only thing I will come in and say that in terms of like, is it only them two and S? There's an argument that I think Uzent has been really, really good and could be bottom S tier, but that maybe that's a spicy one.
I think I'd happily put Uzent, like Uzent, Momochi, and Ackerman. I think are all potentially a conversation. I think Ackerman, like Uzent, he's come out really hot out the gate. He's only played 2 series, right? I think, but he's looked really solid with Bull, and Bull has definitely got downside to work with here. So like maybe, I don't know if am I too hot on Momochi though? Is he a top of B guy?
I think what I've like.
I think he's kind of. I don't know with him. He's coincided with like the upturn in form for Fluxu, so I think that's where am I too hot on Momochi is coming from.
Yeah, and him and Bao look better, but I maybe would be happy going like middle A, bottom A, top of B for these 3, and do like.
Yeah, I think I'd be fine with that. I'd still argue, even though we don't have the sample size. I think what I've seen of Uzent has, for me, like he speaks to me as a support player, man. He's just like.
I'm happy to take a kind of has a bit of that. Ackerman. It does feel like a bet. It feels like a gamble, but
he has that like Haze-ness to him. Not that he's like the takeover and carry, but that it feels like he does like kind of everything pretty well. Like he's not the single best at anything, I think, but he seems to just like be really cromulent. Like the I love that word, by the way.
Yeah.
Watch the Simpsons.
I was gonna say 2 in 1. Podcast
2 in 1. You get 2 in 1 podcast.
Yeah,
double cromulent.
I'm being a bit bullish on Uzent, as it were. So
I just think he just plays the game really really solidly.
I would probably put Ackerman, Uzent, Momochi like this.
I think I'd shift them all up 1.
Yeah, I think there's an argument to shift them all up 1. I think Momochi's been really solid as well. Let's.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there is a break between these 3 and kind of the next chunk.
Let's just be positive on our support pool for.
Yeah, I don't like JoJo and Frosty are obviously exceptionally heads and tails. They're very good.
Yeah,
but I was arguing that there's a world where like Uzent is top best, and I don't think Ackerman's that different than Uzent. Like putting Ackerman above Uzent doesn't make me mad, right? And so I think there's not a huge gap between our A tier supports and our S tier supports. Not because our S tier supports aren't S tier. But just because, like we said, support is really good right now.
Good, yeah. So B, we then have the likes of Kaiwing.
Kaiwing is the only B tier support,
probably,
and then
then
everybody else is either C or D.
And then it's like
the thing is about Kaiwing is he's in the same argument as like JoJo in terms of. When he's like making a play, it's like usually pretty safe. JoJo doesn't die a lot, which I think is a big thing that you don't talk about with supports because
Frosty dies a lot on Nami. You know what I mean? He's not really playing Nami like Nami sometimes.
Everyone talks about like, like you go to do your world's crystal ball. Who's going to be the most killed champion? Nautilus.
Yeah,
he's locking in because it's free every year.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of underrated when you engage as a Nautilus and walk away to tell the tale because now you can re-engage. Now you can play different angles. It like staying safe on support is like a genuine skill. And JoJo does that really well while also being this high flying, like will force fights if he needs to, will always facilitate his team, like is in the right, very well positioned player. Kaiwing plays safe, but I think there's a part of me that thinks he plays a little too safe. And so he doesn't die very much, but I don't think he has that same like X factor that a lot of our top supports have, where it's like, I feel like this guy could win me the game.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't like the same kind of Frosty and JoJo energy. So for C, there's Redbird, there's Toplop, and there's Curry. I think Curry has been a bit helpless, along with Trigger.
How much of that is Curry and how much of that is his lane partner? It's so hard to tell, right?
Yeah.
because we had the same question. I think it was last week you guys were talking about it. It's like how much of their success was Curry and how much was Curry was with Titan, you know?
Yeah.
And so now it's how much of their failure is Curry and how much is he's
Trigger.
with Trigger.
And like statistically, it's hard to analyze support at the best of times, just because like the quantifiables are not as important for a really impactful support. So, I think like Redbird did not have a good split, and then got benched, obviously. Toplop was I like Toplop. I think he's like top of C all the time, just every split, because he's like trying his best and he's gets some stuff done. He's throwing stuff at the wall and he sees what sticks, and you know he's
throwing too much stuff at the wall for my money.
He's throwing a lot of stuff at the wall.
So here's the thing: is that Toplop? Obviously, we've discussed kind of ad nauseum how much Leviathan is stinky doo doo, but Toplop has like worst KDA in the league, and I know like obviously like you said, the measurables are less important for a support because it's like the Blitzcrank mantra of it's not about how many hooks you miss, it's about which hooks you hit. If you die 30 times in a game, but you hit a 5-man pop blossom and your team wins the Baron fight, and then you win, like that. Congratulations, good support game.
Yeah,
like you did it. But he has like the worst KDA in the league by a like considerable margin. He's like over 1 whole KDA lower than Curry, who's almost 1 whole KDA lower than Redbird. Like, so Toplop's sitting at 1.6, Redbird's at 3.4, right? Like that's the difference between Toplop and a guy who got benched. He has 4.8 average deaths per game. The next highest is only 2.8 average deaths per game.
Yeah.
Like I struggle to because and maybe this is because I'm biased towards Snaker. Maybe I'm putting some of the troubles that bot lane has had too much onto Toplop.
Yeah.
But I think he's I would say for my money, he's our bottom guy.
Yeah. I'd keep him out of B for sure. But
yeah, I think they're both bad. I'm willing to put Curry bottom of C, Toplop middle, or top of C.
Yeah.
I think Toplop. I think like a rough KDA
right?
could be just a function of just like your team is just bad. But then you could say the same thing about Curry. But I think for me, like I'm gonna put Curry at the bottom because I think just like the drop off has been unbelievable. This dude he's not far removed from being like in the conversation for best player in the CBLOL.
Yeah.
You know what? This is what I'll give you. Actually, I'm gonna be nice. We're talking about thinking positive today. I see it with Toplop. It's like when we were talking about Miryu, where there's like 10 seconds where you're like, wait, hold on, what? He did something there.
Yeah.
Curry is just consistently uninspiring and like kind of not fun to watch.
Yeah,
and so I'll put Toplop above him for that reason. I think that's fair.
Okay, I think that's fine. So at the very least, support doesn't have any D tier players, which is nice. And they do have this nice chunk of top 5 as opposed to a top 3 or a top 4. Everyone else has like a top 4, and then support has a top 5 with these little sufferers at the bottom. Mid's kind of the most spread across all of them. And we usually have a top 2 in each role. IU has his own special house, and we have a lot of A tier AD carries, but generally there's a top 2 that we've seen. All right, teams. I feel like Red just has to be an S.
Yep.
Yeah, top. Are they top of S because they did lose to Furia? Is there that big of a gap between them and the only team to beat them?
I think Furia.
And it still almost feels like yes.
I think the thing is Furia just can't be allowed to go into S tier with the absolute shambles they've wrought in some of their games. Like
I was about to say, like if Furia are an S, then like you have to put a really big gap between Furia and the rest of the squad, right? So, and I'm here's what I'm willing to say. I don't think just based off just split 1, I don't think you can put anybody else in A. Maybe you could put Loud at the bottom of A.
True. No,
I team in A, bro.
Yeah, I will not.
No, I think I
kind
of like it. Like everybody else is a B tier team.
I think that's fair. I think that's kind of super fair.
Our message to CBLOL teams: prove it.
It's like
Loud. You don't like being in the B tier. Prove you deserve to be higher. You haven't yet.
VKS and Los and Fluxu. Who's getting seed? Because
we could. I actually don't think there are any C tier teams. My revised take: Loud bottom of A. The terrific trio, the Three Musketeers are all in B in some order. I don't care where. I don't want to spend a single brain cell debating which one of those three middle ass teams are better than
VKS.
And then you can put Levin Payne both in D for all I care. They were both just like streets worse than everybody else.
I'm so mad at I'm so mad at VKS all the time that I like want to put them low, but I'm not so mad at them that I think they're a tier worse than Fluxu. And I like this because Fluxu, Los, and VKS are all the same team right now. I guess
I can't trust
Pain
any of
beat
them.
Leviathan.
I mean, the Fluxu, they are. I think that their weaknesses that they're kind of like VKS's, where like they need to like overcome the fact that the downsides of Curti and Bao, and they've kind of overcome mostly from what I've seen. Peach is now playing at a consistent enoughly good level that's like solid. If they can fix topside, their bot lane is at least reliable. Momochi's really solid. So like it is very close, but I'd probably put like I mean VKS did beat Los, but Los has Curse now. Is that better for them? Maybe. It's certainly different.
They looked pretty dang good against Fluxu. I think VKS in the middle of B is like where my heart wants them to be.
Yeah, I'd probably still put Los Grandes above them. Yeah. I think that's fine.
On the back of VKS got rid of Morteus, and now he's the second best carry in the league.
Yeah. And like VKS just looks so ridiculous when they're.
He was, I mean, look, Morteus was never bad. That's just a stylistic thing for me. But even then, it's like,
we're
removed from this dude. Just I don't.
Now
I don't know. I'm still mad about Smiley being benched.
Smiley was, I think, in 2024 split 2. He was the season MVP for our tier list when I was looking back.
It was awesome,
dude. When we had Smiley and first split VKS Pro Delta, the future was bright.
Yeah. So rookie of the split. Now this is not actually a slam dunk like it normally is. Because we have Shino and Steps.
Yeah, I mean,
still a rookie. Wow.
Yep.
2 rookies.
Does anyone feel strongly? Because we didn't do a list in the cup, I'm counting everyone from the start of 2026.
I say Shino.
Yeah.
Shino has looked stronger.
Longer track record.
But for the sake of some drama. Making Trajan make a decision.
I'm
gonna say Steps as my rookie of the split because I think it is harder. I think it is easier for a rookie to come in and play top lane. Right? Top lane, they come in, he's on his island, and he just has to be good at the thing he already is good at doing, right? We know that Shino is good at like mechanics and like beating people and like playing in team fights, that's fine. Argument. It's so hard to be like jungler, you have to have great comms, you have to be a leader. Like that's so hard to do as a young guy, like coming into a team like Red Canids that has like, it's not like Red Canids were bums and then Steps showed up and now like they have put it together, they split. They were already really strong team.
Yeah.
And you're coming in and like having to be a decision maker, having to be like a leader as such a young guy. I think that's really hard.
Yeah.
Like the intangible part of that makes me say Steps.
Mostly banger lanes. Like Zints again, like had to. So that he didn't necessarily have all banger lanes all the time. Shino did not have a banger team. We give points Shino for performing.
That is points to Shino
amidst this loud sort of morass. But like I do think it's harder to join as a rookie jungler and perform. We've seen that from Samk's. We saw Sorolo's been up and down over his first 2 games. We've seen it from Drake Hero. Like we've seen it from Bookie. There's a lot of like less experienced, not even fully rookies necessarily, but less experienced junglers that have come into the CBLOL and crashed and burned, you know, and Steps is not one of them. And he had a promoted Academy topside, and a new AD carry for the team. I think I'm going to put Steps. But that's very close. That's very close. Yeah, it does.
Hey,
Shino's the man.
Shino, we cannot sing.
We love you, bro.
Do I think in a vacuum that like who is more skilled at the game? I would probably say Shino over Steps. But I think what Steps has been asked to do is harder for his position.
Junglers. Interesting.
I would just say that like in terms of like game skill, yeah, I think Shino is one of our best players in the league, period, right now, right? Like if Kaze doesn't exist, you could argue that Shino could be MVP. Which is insane, right? But I think what Steps has to do in terms of like what it means to be a rookie and what it means to come into the league, I think that's just so hard to do. In like all the intangibles that are required of a jungler, you know, hey, you got a shot call, you have to like, you know, tell everyone what your timer there. You got to be like making sure that your people like are paying attention to the macro and all that stuff. And I feel like I don't know how much of that is like, we're not listening to their comms. We don't know how much of that Steps is actually responsible for, but I feel like that usually falls on a jungler. Like the jungler and the support have to do that. And so that just for me is very impressive for Steps to be doing so well.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Most improved. No, I think there's a good choice that I have for this one, but does anyone else have any thinkers?
Peach. I think it's Peach.
I think it's Peach.
All right.
For handshakes. Good job, Peach.
Peach was a guy that was like we were not talking about very favorably during the cup.
Tragic in the cup, I'll say it.
He has had some good like Fluxu looks good, and like obviously we've talked ad nauseum about how good Cody has made them look, but I think a good part of that is that like Peach has had some serious improvement.
He's massive. He's had big carry games, and in their losses, he does not drop 12 deaths on the regular like he used to. So
there you go.
That's pretty nice.
Good job, bud.
Ninjakiwi award, the most elo held.
This is difficult. I don't. This is
no, it's not.
I mean, I'm sure you guys are all thinking Snaker, no? Because you guys
Snaker, man.
Which is absolutely crazy to me. But I have the actual answer.
Leviathan's terrible.
I'll tell you the actual answer.
Okay.
It's well, actually no. It could be karaoke.
I was thinking that.
It could also.
The streets are not going to like that.
The streets are going to like it. But the streets need to be told some harsh truths sometimes. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's one. I
will hear an argument for karaoke. I'll hear an argument for karaoke.
So karaoke. So when we started with Sam K's, I think we can all agree that Sam K's got Marvined, and it was ugly stuff, right? He was getting clapped, outclassed all the way up and down, and Pain. Despite the fact that we went in and they only got their first series wins against Leviathan in the last week, they had taken games and early games and actual game wins off other teams throughout this season. They were not 0-X going into that series. They had more games scored than Leviathan the entire time, and then they, as a team, outclassed them across the board. Karaoke got pretty decided revenge over Bookie for the unfortunate circumstances of the jungle invade from the CBLOL Cup. I think he's, righted the ship on that one. And if you look at his team, Robo, I think, was absolutely horrendous. 99% of this split. Not all of it, but almost all of it. I think it was one of Robo's worst splits I've seen in a long time. Kaney is bottom of B. He's trying. He's playing mid lane, but he's not doing much more than that. And Trigger and Curry were absolutely abominable the entire time, apart from the last series, literally. So I think that karaoke was essential to lifting Pain out of the... And we must remember the level of intangible environmental horror that has been inflicted upon Pain's players, team, staff, and fans. And Karaoke managed to at least drive them in a direction far enough to beat Leviathan at the end of the split and pick up a couple of games.
And yeah, and like he has had to be the whipping boy for this franchise for years and years and years and years and years.
Thankless
and even in the bad games, Curry would, like those little leads that the team would get. A lot of them came on the back of Curry or of Karaoke. Excuse me.
Yeah. So,
all right, Trajan, you've convinced me.
There's another side argument that you could pitch Shino for this as well, I think.
No, he's not Elo held.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
I think because now that Yuzent's there,
I think that goes against the spirit of the award.
With Envy, and I think Young Jay, I think Shino isn't quite there. But they
just won a title. They might be about to win another one.
Yeah,
I don't think the most Elo held player can be on the third ranked team in the league, guys.
It just would have meant that everyone is where they should be. You know what I mean? Like if Pain had never
be conceding a contradiction in our tier list.
If Pain had never brought in Karaoke and they just continued to flounder with Samk's, then I think he probably would have been in the conversation. But I think it's Karaoke.
Do you think that Samk's would have lost them that series against Leviathan?
Maybe not necessarily. I think like the rest of the map was unbelievably favorable.
Listen, I'm gonna let you throw Karaoke in there. I'm not gonna die on I'm not gonna be like, hey, this podcast cannot continue until we agree that it's Snaker, because you made a good argument. Like I definitely see. For my money, I still do think it's Snaker. I think he is better than what we think he is, and a lot of that comes down to, holy shit, man, he's on Leviathan.
I think this can be your banging on the cage, like screaming. Into
I'll go down screaming about it, but it's very okay to put Snaker or Karaoke there.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Okay, biggest flop.
The general idea of Pain Gaming.
So, because the cup, so the question here maybe is, I think I have an option for this.
Wiser.
And he's left. He said Wiser, and he walked away from the camera.
Terrible.
So Pain, like, once Titan left, did you still believe that it was going to be good and then it was bad?
No.
Or was it like when Titan left, we were like, oh no?
But it was something more than just Titan leaving. It was what Titan leaving represented. You know what I mean? Like, Titan left, and I knew it was cooked because there were so many eggs in this basket.
Yeah.
I was banging on the drum.
Titan leaving, it was like, it wasn't even that it was like Titan. I mean, Titan was the worst piece to go because he was the best player on the team. But I think if anyone else of this carefully laid like master plan of Loud to dominate 2026 in the post VKS era, if any piece of that had gotten like pulled out, if Corey had, I don't know, he's got to go to military service, surprise, surprise. Yeah. I think it still kind of goes, it goes poopy. But Titan, I don't know. Yes, I think it's kind of both.
It is like the entire franchise has gone.
It was
to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, and the second that Titan got booted, I had zero faith that this team was going to come even close to their aspirations. No, I think just mentally, everyone else, and especially if you're Robo and Tino. Tino, did you come back out of retirement?
That's why he's my biggest flop.
On the franchise that has like hailed you in the same breath as their greatest ever mid laner and also their biggest ever Judas. Right? You come into this environment, you know he's going to be fraught. And then Titan gets booted, and you're like, what am I even doing here? Like, and Robo, right? He's been out for 10,000 years. Karaoke's been there for 10,000 years, right? And Kuri, he's just here to play with Titan. I don't think Kuri is here to play League of Legends in Brazil. I think he's here to play with Titan.
Yeah.
Like, it was never going to work. It was never going to work.
I think that's pretty fair. That's a strong argument. For me, I don't think Wiser performed that much worse than I thought he would. I think he performed
I thought he was going to be
close to his last split, which was quite mid. The suggestion I had was Miri.
That's a shout, especially if we're taking split 1 into account as well.
I say if we're taking the cup into account, then because we were coming off of like Miryu and
in the
like
course
that,
of 26.
As Mirror like
Pain still applies in the same format as well because it started at the start of the year.
Yep.
I think those two would be it for me. One of them. I think they're both solid choices, man. Like,
I mean, part of me like is if I had to pick, like again picking a specific part of like the Pain fiasco. Tinon's coming out of retirement.
Yeah, man.
And
just
and I like,
bro, that was if more likely to fail than not. But I trusted that like Robo could still be good, Karaoke is still solid. That bottom lane should have been the best in Brazil, and
it
wasn't
bothers
even close,
me because like if Tinon stays retired, he didn't like retire on a high note or anything.
No,
Right?
he
He
did
was
not.
pretty cooked by the time he
Yeah.
retired. But like we would still remember him as like loud Tinons. That guy had a 4-peat, bro. Like
yeah.
and
I
now
think-
I remember him I remember his memory is tarnished by this disaster piece that is 2026 Pain.
Yeah.
And like I also said, I was like, dude, he was so washed when they brought him back. And I think I said that like on the first podcast of the year. I was like, guys,
yeah.
we without Titan, like we have faith in Robo, who like granted had a really good 2025 up until he didn't, and mega washed Tinones, and the guy that has been the team's whipping boy for like 3 years plus.
It's just everything. It's everything about it, right? It's the karaoke thing. It's the Marvin fiasco. It's the Sam K's fiasco. It's the Tinones on retirement into re-retirement. It's the Robo career pause. It's Trigger and Curry exploding and becoming the worst bot lane duo of all time somehow.
Pull a little bit of a bait and switch. Because we knew that Titan was not going to be playing before a single game of League of Legends had even been played, can they be considered a flop if some of us were shouting from the heavens this whole time that this was going to be a failure?
The only point against it is the Titan thing did happen before game 1, but
in terms of a flop, yeah, I mean, it might genuinely be Miryu because he fell the furthest, right? This guy was our literal MVP, and now he's our second worst ranked mid laner.
Yeah.
I
think they both. I'll put Miryu for the purity of it, and we're gonna give an honorable mention.
Honorable mention to whatever Pain is.
The entirety of Pain. There we go. So we'll have the entirety of Pain Gaming honorably mentioned here as the biggest flop, but Miryu does get the single trophy to walk away with. We couldn't split the trophy in 5, or I guess in however many people are all involved in the Pain project. Okay, so to like fill out the all-star teams more or less as they sit on the tier list. This is Dudu. And so Adudu and Ackerman get to stay together. That's helpful for them. Second is Gigo, Tatu, Cody, Morteus, and Frosty. And then the first one is Shino, Steps, Kaze, Ayu, Jojo.
Dude, that first all-pro team is
fucking
evil.
Bang,
That is evil.
That is an evil team.
Dude, because you don't, like, Steps and Kaze, we already know they work well together as dual carries mid-jungle. Ayu and Jojo is just such a reliable bedded-in duo as well that can do whatever you need them to do. And Shino is a do anything you need to do top laner, does not need resources, does not need attention. This roster bangs very hard.
It's actually like there are good names on the second team, but there's a definitive gap between how well that first team would work and how well that second team would work. And I think there's a definitive gap between how well that theoretical all-star second team would work into how well that theoretical all-star third team would work.
Yeah,
like that think, top team is nasty.
I don't know how well Gigo, Tatu, Cody would work. That might be too much volatility and like too much solo carry potential from everybody. Like Kaze and obviously Tuts is able to take a backseat a lot, which is fine for them. But I think even if you just like put Kaze in there with Tatu and Gigo, that works better because Kaze has shown a lot more maturity and depth now, whereas Cody is still a bit like crazy all the time. Morteus and Frosty we know is a solid bot lane, and God knows there's enough carry in the top side of this team, so that probably is the best bot lane duo you could ask for that are just gonna get on with it and 2v2 and then show up to the team fight. So I think this is a solid second team, but that top side does scare me a little bit.
And
I low-key I think the third team doesn't really make sense to me.
Third team kind of does not ball.
It kind of does in the sense that like it's sort of Furia-esque, where you've got Young Jay, like Firecracker jungle, hyper carry bot laner, and then Tuts to like glue it together. And then Zinz is just kind of there. I think it's because I don't necessarily yet know really what kind of top laner Zinz is. If he's like 2 carry focused, or if he's, because he's not as resilient as Shino and not as versatile as Shino is, but he's not, maybe not as carry as, maybe he is more carry oriented than Gigo, but I wouldn't trust him on tanks as much. Like, I don't know. He's kind of, I'm still not 100% sure.
Call me crazy. I think, obviously, we're not going to like change the rankings off of this or anything, but I think Peach would actually slot better in that all-star third team than Young Jay, because Young Jay is like, I'm gonna coin flip, and I don't think anyone else on that team is strong enough to like recover from when it comes up tails.
Yeah.
Whereas Peach is gonna be like mostly fine, and then like due to an Ackerman could maybe like pick something up, but like I just think it's kind of funny that it's like, it is weird to actually change the All-Star.
So there's precedent for this. We've done this before. We've done this with Robo and Wiser before. We've not followed the tier list exactly before. Because there's also an argument for if you wanted a truer, bluer carrier top lane to swap Zinz for Zest, if you had the right jungle and the right top side for it. Which maybe if you didn't have Dudu as well.
I think switching Peach, like Young Jay for Peach, makes that third team better, despite that I think at his strongest, Young Jay is stronger than Peach.
Yeah. Okay. Who's the MVP? Now, the top of the table tier list is Kaze, but the amount of, the amount that we have talked up Shino for being able to deal with Loud's nonsense and still end up as the top guy, the amount of the sheer explosiveness which Steps has wrought on the jungle since he joined and has been putting up massive numbers everywhere all the time, without really much downside ever. IU returning to a clear solo S tier bot lane performance, playing some of the most balls out AD carry I have seen in a long time, since Titan, to be honest. So I think there's a lot of really like headline superstar style players.
I think
that we have going right now.
If it's not going to be Kaze off of the basis of just kind of being the best player in the league right now, the only other substitute I would accept before this podcast is allowed to finish recording is IU. Because IU is so low, just not there. Like we have it. There's no one in the same ballpark. There's no one in the same state as IU right now, and that does mean something when, especially in like an Enchanter meta, AD carries just are and always have been a staple of the game. When your AD carry is performing, they're usually not like giving you the power to solo win the game. But if they're strong enough, they like can take bad situations and like make things work. Having a strong AD carry is like usually the backbone. It's kind of the spine of your like league strategy. Like they are the team fight carry. They are the team fight damage. And so like being the definitive best guy at that role does mean a lot. But I think it has to be Kaze. I think he's too good at every facet of the game.
Yeah, he's too good at everything.
Just to not like, how is he not the most valuable? Even on a team that is just filled with like banger players, right? Like they don't have a single player below A tier, right? Like I think Zinz is their lowest ranked guy at the middle of A. Like that's a pretty damn good team. But like IU's also on a pretty damn good team. Look at where his guys are ranked as well.
Yeah, and he has the best support, which is nice. In an Enchanter meta, it's a bot lane carry meta, and a bot lane carry season really, and then an Enchanter meta where he has the best Enchanter player and is being played for properly. And this is we see what IU can do if he's given room to cook. But I think Kaze is he's just him, dude. He's just him.
Yeah. No, he's explosive. He is.
We should lock it in.
He's him.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
We should lock it in. Reconvene next split when we completely cursed him and
he's in C tier and Miryu's S tier.
He's in C. He and Mir tier are cohabitating
Both
seats
an
here,
S.
and it's like all right, Cody, now it's your turn. Be the best player in the league. Flukes who go like
Back to
on an
C-tier.
insane undefeated run, and then we're like, oh man, dude, this Cody guy is great, and then then he gets cursed.
One by one, we'll ruin them all.
We'll ruin all the mid laners, man.
Okay, that's the list, folks. That's the list. I do think that as much as the game quality, I think, suffered a bit sometimes this split, I think our individual players, we've gotten... There was a stat that somebody put on socials. I don't know if it was Sheep Esports or it was the Lolly Sports or if it was General somebody else that was like, that CBLOL, there's like one player playing in the CBLOL now that started before 2022 in this
no
league.
I don't know if it's not one, it's but it's only a few, like I think it's literally only like 3 or 4. I think
it's like Envy,
Carioca, Gigo, Envy, Jojo.
I'm
just scanning the rosters and I think that's it.
Yeah, they're like started in the CBLOL at least, because there's some old heads like
like Snake and Ackerman are still, Kaiwing, exactly.
But like we have a very fresh
Yep.
league. There's not a lot of pillars, and even Envy only just got back after being missing in action for a couple of splits, maybe even a year and a half or something. So, we are constantly building more and adding more. And, our MVPs were like, Smiley before, and then Miryu, which was on his first split in. Kaze now is settling in, has become like this force of nature. Like, it feels very, like, active and dynamic, and it's not, like, stagnant, I guess. Which I think is cool. I think it's cool to see.
It's a fun product.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the funnest.
I never go into a split of CBLOL like I do with like the LCS sometimes, or the LCK, or by God the LEC, where I'm like, okay, we know who's winning this one. Like, pack it up. Let's just wait for Worlds. Like every split of CBLOL, even when like there's a clear strongest team, it's not as true as you think it is. And like, while that's maybe not always like maybe. For the sake of international performances, you'd like your strongest team to be so clearly the strongest team that like that's unassailable. But if your regional identity is only based around like how strong do they perform at internationals, and those are the only teams I care about, you have a garbage league and it's not fun to watch, right? This is the best league for its domestic action by my money, and like that's part of the reason why is that it's a very fresh, it's a very like exciting product always.
Yep, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. Okay, that's going to do us for today. As we said before, we'll be back Saturday, Sunday for the first round of playoffs, which will be Los Grandes.
Do we have questions?
I don't know, but we have been going for 2 and a bit hours.
Oh, okay.
And if we have questions, we'll roll them on to next week.
It's just Lunar Day. It's fine.
That's fine. Apologies, Lunar. We will come back to your question/pain comment, depending on what it is. I haven't checked. Next time, and we will address it with the added context of a first round in mind, so as to not misattribute anything. Apologies, but this has been a long one, and I am about 45 minutes late for another meeting at this point. So, thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you on Saturday, Sunday, CBLOL_English. You can follow us on socials at CBLOL English, Twitter, and Blue Sky, and you can join our community Discord to join the Fantasy League, submit questions, which we will answer eventually on the podcast at some stage. And thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Saturday, Sunday for the first round of playoffs.